DNVR Broncos live coming to you from Studio A here at the DNVR Bar, where the A stands for Alabama.
Oh, roll tide, baby. I can get behind that. And look who's back, baby.
Yes, and not only back on the show, but a throwback show.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
Well, RK and Zach only show. And, you know, we'll miss the roller coaster.
Yes, we certainly will. He's taken his talents to the beach, though, so I don't feel bad for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the Buffs world, we call that twerking.
Oh, what?
You're either working or you're twerking.
Oh, wow.
There's two types of people in this world.
Yep. And hopefully he's getting his twerk on.
Yeah, he's
a little sandy
he's
twerk.
Definitely twerking on the beach.
Oh, man. I don't know if I need to visualize that.
Hey, you know, maybe not. All right. What a day.
It is a day.
Things have gotten a little weird.
That's true.
And I'm only talking about the Broncos quarterback situation,
Oh,
of
okay.
course.
Yes, of course.
The Broncos are being kind of tossed into some conversations.
They are. And you know what, Ryan? I was nervous. I threw this headline out to you a couple days ago. Then yesterday I checked back in with you to see if you were down for it. And when I did, I was like, man, people are going to be... I don't know if people are going to like. There's going to be a lot of pushback to this. But the more research I did on this, Ryan, this is legitimate. This is something we need to talk about, which is crazy. And what we're talking about is Mac Jones and the Denver Broncos potentially being tied together. So why? Why does this happen? Early this week, a report comes out that the Patriots are shopping Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Then another report comes out that Bill Belichick was furious with Mac Jones at times last year. Then another report comes out. This is all within like 24 hours. Another report comes out that the locker room was split on Bailey Zappi or Mac Jones last year. Then
Yikes.
another report comes out saying, yes, the Patriots have been shopping Mac Jones. So multiple outlets, multiple people have been saying this, and talk about things just going up in flames in New England, because on top of this, when all of this was happening, another report, I believe it was our friend Albert Breer, said that... Andrew Breer, yes, of course, said that it's more likely than not Bill Belichick finishes his career somewhere else. So, I mean, talk about a week for the Patriots, but it involves Mac Jones a lot. And then
Just
how
retire.
It's been... why not? Why would you not?
Yeah.
He should have retired when Tom went out, and then there would have been no question about if he was the greatest. But he didn't. Egos get in the way, as they typically do in sports. But why we're talking about the Broncos is, let's pull this up here. CBS Sports put out a tweet with this news involved and said 5 potential suitors for Mac Jones. You got the Raiders, Titans, Commanders, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Denver Broncos here. So this is just CBS kind of throwing it out. They're not necessarily saying that the Broncos have called on Mac Jones or anything like that. But here's the first tie to the Broncos. I've got a lot more ties to this, but I want to hear what you think about this at first.
Oh, man. This is a funny position for me to take, because I notably am not high on Mac Jones.
Very true.
With that being said,
Oh my gosh. Don't do this to me, Ryan.
Sean Payton has given the forearm shiver to Russell Wilson from the second that he was hired by the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
He does not want anyone thinking Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, it's just like Sean Payton and Drew Brees. They're just going to be the best of buds and tear it up in Denver. He doesn't want anyone thinking that he took this job because he likes Russell Wilson. He doesn't want Russell Wilson's potential shortcomings put onto his plate.
100%.
And that's been very clear to me, at least, and I know you agree. And Mac Jones is kind of a perfect Sean Payton quarterback.
Oh, the similarities. When you take a step back and you look at a quarterback that is undersized, physically talented, not really there, but processing ability is very much up there. He has the football IQ. No one ever doubted Drew Brees' mental IQ, Mac Jones' mental IQ. Both not top prospects coming out of the draft, but Mac Jones viewed higher by the NFL than Drew Brees. Drew Brees went in the second. Mac Jones, obviously, in the first. Neither are mobile quarterbacks. Both quarterbacks win and can dominate from the pocket. Both quarterbacks had a lot of success in college. The similarities are there. You want to even go one step further. Both quarterbacks, if Mac Jones did join Sean Payton, both on the second team in their career when they joined Sean Payton. They've both had flashes before joining Sean Payton, but also weren't viewed as like elite by any means. The similarities are wild.
I would be shocked if Sean Payton didn't really like Mac Jones coming out and doesn't like the idea of Mac Jones playing for him.
You are 100% right. At least on the first part, I can guarantee that because Ryan, after
receipts.
The draft, yes, we have receipts. After the draft, who was it? Mike Lombardi said multiple teams confirmed with him that the Patriots, or that the New Orleans Saints, Sean Payton's last year with them, tried to move ahead of the Patriots to draft Mac Jones. Multiple teams confirmed that the New Orleans Patriots or the New Orleans Saints with Sean Payton wanted Mac Jones in that draft. He says, I've had this confirmed to me by two teams, and they were trying to get above New England to get Mac Jones, the Saints, that is. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Everyone will deny it, but I'm just telling you. And then he goes on just to explain and just say how much that the Saints wanted Mac Jones. And this is something that we've talked about this week, actually, just about how Sean Payton, even though he had Drew Brees, and this was right after Drew Brees retired, but before that, Sean Payton was very active in scouting quarterbacks, and they wanted Mac Jones. And in fact, I think he said they even called New England to trade with him, and New England said, nope, we've got our pick right here.
Yeah, and then I think recently it came out that the 49ers originally traded up for Mac Jones. Like, that had been kind of a rumor, and I think it was a little more coming from a Peter King or someone along those lines recently. And then they kind of freaked out over tools and ended up going with Trey Lance, which we'll see how that ends up working out for them. Hasn't been great so far, but neither has Mac Jones. And I think that's, worth considering here, is that it has not worked out. That's why he's available.
Right.
But you're right in comparing Drew Brees start with the Chargers and then going and pairing up with Sean Payton. Sean Payton turned him into a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yep.
I would be lying to say I'm not intrigued. Mac Jones is not my kind of quarterback.
Yep.
I want a big-armed guy with legs.
Yep.
That's what I want.
You like a couple of quarterbacks in this draft, then?
I do. And I just feel like the boom potential with those guys is so great in today's NFL.
Yeah.
But again, we're talking about a Sean Payton offense.
Yep.
He doesn't need a guy to get out of the pocket and scramble and make plays downfield. And I think it's why he probably doesn't like Russell Wilson all that much. He wants a guy to sit there and just make the right read. Know what you're looking at.
Yep.
Okay, you've got cover 2 here. Well, that's obvious where you're going. Okay, you've got single high. It's looking like cover 3. Boom, hit that, tight end up the seam. Whatever it may be, that's what he wants. He wants a guy to play the game with his eyes.
Right.
And that's absolutely what Mac Jones' strength is. When Mac Jones had a lot of success his rookie season, there was a lot of just like 5 wide.
Yep.
Henry loved talking about this. They'd just get him 5 wide out there. He'd say, all right, where's my matchup? Get the ball out in, 1.8 seconds.
Yep.
And keep the thing going. Again, you see where like weather comes into play and he takes a little bit of a step back, but all of this stuff just reminds me of Drew Brees, honestly. And I'm not saying that he's going to be Drew Brees, but it's funny to imagine this. And I don't think it would be fair to say no chance, no way, no how, because of the synergy that exists there.
Man, I thought I was going to have to come on this podcast and say, Ryan, I'm putting all of my Mac Jones love that I've had in the past to the side. I'm just viewing this from Sean Payton's point of view because I thought you were going to be so against this. But, I mean, you bring it up. Yeah, I am trying to not even view it in a positive light or a biased light of I like Mac Jones. Sean Payton, this is his type of quarterback. And It's the opposite kind of Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, he had success last year in the final 2 games because he was able to use his feet. And credit to Justin Houghton for using Russell Wilson to his strengths. Nathaniel Hackett tried to make Russell Wilson a pure pocket passer until he was fired. And how did that work out? It didn't. Now, do I think that Sean Payton's going to do the exact same thing and make Russell Wilson a pocket passer quarterback? No. I think Sean Payton's going to play to Russell Wilson's strengths, which is not that. But where have we seen Sean Payton succeed the most? It's with a quarterback that can win from the pocket first and foremost and really doesn't even need another gear to be able to run or anything. And that is what Mac Jones does. And so you look at who Mac Jones and Russell Wilson have been these last couple of years. It is crazy. The past 2 years, and each year, 2021 when Mac Jones was a rookie and 2022 last year, they've had nearly identical stats. Pretty much they've been like neck and neck with each other in everything. 2 years ago, Russell Wilson, 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. 2 years ago, Mac Jones was the rookie of the year. Last year, they both struggled. Last year, Russell Wilson, didn't he have terrible circumstances with the coaching, with his health, with other players around him being healthy? Ryan, you can make an argument that Russell Wilson had the second worst situation for any quarterback last year in terms of the position he was put in. You can make an argument that Mac Jones had an even worse position.
He had a defensive coordinator calling his plays.
Exactly. So, no wonder he took a step back. So, if people want to give the benefit of the doubt, which I think is fair and right to Russell Wilson, if he's going to take a step back up this year, I think you have to give that to Mac Jones as well. And then also, Mac is younger. So, there's so many things why you look at this at first and you say, no, this doesn't make sense. Mac Jones trending down the wrong way. Broncos already have their guy. When you really dive into it, though, specifically viewing it from Sean Payton's point of view, this is something that is just, it's something that you can't just write off right away.
Yeah.
And especially.
And I'm already seeing people on Twitter,
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes I have to mute the conversation when you tag me in tweets. People are extra mad when you tweet it. I don't know why. But when you don't listen to the conversation, I can see how you could just say, no, this is dumb.
Yep.
People that are tuning into the podcast have to acknowledge that there is some synergy here. There is some chemistry here. We'll get to the second part of the conversation. But this is real.
It is.
In terms of just a match, right?
Yep.
If Russell Wilson was out of the picture and we were simply just talking about does Mac Jones fit for Sean Payton, you would say of quarterbacks that the Broncos could get, he might fit Sean Payton the best.
Yep, 100%. And there's even more to this about Sean Payton's connection with Mac Jones. I think maybe even the biggest thing, and I want to tell you about that after I tell you about Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens, the perfect way to start your day. All you do is you take it out of the fridge, take a scoop, put it in 8 ounces of water, mix it up, pound it, and then you have 75 vitamins and minerals, probiotics, adaptogens, whole food source superfoods to get your day started right. It's something that we've all added to our routine, and it just helps with so many different things. Also, over 7,000 5-star reviews, so many people love it, not just us, and it's cheaper than your cup of coffee a day. So check them out at athleticgreens.com/Broncos, where with your first order, they're going to give you 1 free year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. That immune-supporting vitamin D is great, and the 5 travel packs are just amazing. So get this offer while you can. That's athleticgreens.com/Broncos.
What else we got?
Fubo TV.
All right, Fubo TV. Sorry, I got distracted reading people's mad tweets. Check out Fubo TV. Scan that QR code right there to get 15% off your subscription to Fubo TV. Man, I love Fubo TV.
Yep.
Nuggets games, Avs games, whatever shows you like to watch. Anything else? I don't know what other people do on TV other than watch the Nuggets and Avs and Broncos and whoever. But Fubo TV is the perfect solution to a problem we've been having in Denver in terms of billionaires keeping our teams off of TV. But really, it can be great for everyone. So check them out. Check out their product. It's an awesome product. It is my favorite streaming service I've used so far. So get over to FuboTV.com/DNVR to get in on your 15% off when you join Fubo.
And I knew that the comments, especially of the people not watching, but on Twitter, were going to be going crazy But you have
muted
to
the
listen.
conversation.
Yes, it's smart. You have to listen to this next part because this is undeniable. So Sean Payton's actions showed that he liked Mac Jones by trying to trade up ahead of New England to try to get him. And then how about his words? Back it up as well. At the start of that season, the Patriots played the Saints early in the season, and Sean was asked about Mac Jones. Here's what he said. So this was week 3. So after Mac Jones' first 2 games, he was asked about what he thought of his first 2 games. And Sean Payton said, I think positive, really positive. He was someone that we were really high on. I think he processes information fast. At Alabama, if you watch closely his tape, the ball comes out, decisions are made fast. I think he sees the field horizontally as well as vertically well. He has the arm to make the throws that you want. His decision-making and processing are where I felt really strong suits with him, and I think he's handling it well. It's not easy to all of a sudden come in and start week 1 as a rookie, but he's a smart player.
Pretty much everything we just said.
Exactly. But it's literally coming from his mouth. Like,
Yep.
It's one thing for you and I to be like, yeah, he really fits him. But then for Sean to say that, that's why I think it's worth talking about.
Of course it's worth talking about, especially on April 7th. Okay, so now we have to get into the nitty-gritty.
Yep.
And there's 2 other topics that have to be covered here.
Okay.
Topic 1 is what would the compensation be?
Yep.
And topic 2 is how does this work with Russell Wilson?
Of course.
How many segments do we have today?
We've got 4.
All right, so which one do you want to do now?
Let's do Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Or do you think that flows better?
Yeah, let's get that out of the way and
Yep.
say if that was out of the way,
Yep.
then this would be it would be nice to have Henry here because he's, our resident expert on how to get out of contracts
true.
and
It's
things
very true.
of that nature. But where do we start?
So with Russell Wilson, would he be involved in the trade?
Oh. I wasn't thinking so.
Okay.
I feel as though Russell Wilson is untradeable.
But couldn't the Patriots say the Patriots can't go into a rebuild? The Patriots have to win right now. They've kind of been just borderline these past couple of years. They have to win right now. Couldn't they look at Russ and say, "Boy, he's good enough. We just need to make him who he was in Seattle." And then we've got our quarterback of the future.
Maybe. And it's actually a good deal for them, were they to trade for Russell Wilson, because the Broncos end up just getting massacred by dead cap.
Right.
And I think it turns out to be like I want to say like 20 or 30, somewhere between 27 and $40 million per year.
Yep, exactly.
And I think they can get out of it after like 1 or 2 years.
An extremely team-friendly contract for the Patriots.
Yep. Again, sorry, Henry's not here. So that's a possibility, but I have a hard time.
Okay.
I have a hard time envisioning it. With that being said, Mac Jones on the quarterback scale, incredibly cheap.
Yep.
And so he's probably making, you want to look that up for me, how much he's making over the next couple of years, but it's probably right around $5 million.
Yep.
And essentially, if you just envision that you're paying $5 million for your quarterback situation, you could do the mental gymnastics to make a move like this. Then, of course, if you were to do something like this, you're doing anything and everything you can to offload Russell Wilson. What do you got?
4.2 this year, and next year 4.9. So exactly.
Yeah. So the Broncos are paying Russ what this year? 40?
This year I think 27.
Oh, okay. So then it's next year that it goes up.
Yep.
So then so what you're saying is, now we're just paying 31 for our quarterback.
Right.
Again, you are imagining that this is a world in where Sean Payton says, I need someone else, right?
Right.
I don't think this is likely by any stretch of the mind.
$22 million this year, by the way, for Russ.
$26 million for your quarterback this year.
Yep.
And then you could even hold on to Russell Wilson for this year and move him next year when it's a little more palatable.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible. I know that the easy answer to this question is just, it's impossible. Let's move on. But everything that Sean Payton has told us with his body language and his actual language and his deflection, which is like all pro corner level deflecting.
Yep.
makes me think that he could be the one to walk into George Payton's office and call Greg Penner down and say, guys, I have an idea.
Yep. And you know what the Broncos haven't done yet? They haven't restructured a single contract of people that are on the team. So they have some leeway to do that. They could do that with other players in order to create this cap space, in order to move on from Russell Wilson, in order to get Mac Jones. And Ryan, do you think they can both coexist on the same team at the same time? Is Mac Jones your backup?
No.
So you're two different deals. You're bringing in Mac Jones and moving on from Russ somehow.
Yeah, I mean, again, who knows the gymnastics that Rich Hurtado could pull off.
Yeah.
But if you're making this move, you're saying you're calling in Greg, you're calling in George, and you're saying, I want to do this. George and Greg say yes in this hypothetical world. Mm-hmm. And the first thing they do is they go to Rich Hurtado and they say, all right, what are our options? And to be completely honest, they've probably already had that conversation.
Right.
So he's going to say, okay, if you trade him, then X, Y, and Z happens. If we cut him, then X, Y. If we cut him by this time, then X, Y, and Z happens. The Broncos, in this case, go through the motions of trying to figure it out. Now, there is a world, I believe, in which the Broncos say Russell Wilson as our backup is actually the best financial decision for us.
Wow.
This year.
Wow. I didn't even think of that when thinking of these possibilities.
I think it's possible.
I mean, for financials this year, he absolutely would be the best option if your options are move on from him or keep him as a backup.
I would not write that off. Now, again, now you've got Russell Wilson's super agent.
Yeah.
I mean, probably like setting up a picket line outside of the facility at best. And it's probably like an ugly war at that point between the Broncos and Russell Wilson. No one wants to see that.
No. But
the Broncos would weirdly have leverage because he's under contract for so long to say, like, okay, well, you know, what do you want us to do? Like, we can't afford to trade him. He's not good enough to play.
A buyout? I mean, is that something that can happen in the NFL?
And the Broncos would still be would be stuck with a ton of dead money. There's no way of getting around the dead money.
Yeah.
And that's why, in the end, my answer to this question is going to be 95% chance no.
It's fair.
But 5% to me exists where Sean Payton just says, like, hey, I'm running the show here.
Yep.
This is what I want to do.
Yep.
I think Mac Jones is going to be a much better option for me.
Yep.
And you guys got to figure it out. And they say, all right, we'll try.
And also on top of that, someone in the comments section is saying, and I just can't see it right now, but it's saying, George Payton would not make this deal ever because it would be admitting a big mistake and his legacy would never be able to overcome it with Russell Wilson. George isn't running the show anymore right now. This is Sean Payton, and you give Sean Payton what he wants. Now, if Sean says, George, what do you think about this idea? And George pushes back against it so much, then Sean might be like, okay, never mind, we're not going to do that. But if Sean Payton says, I need Mac Jones, I think Greg Penner, if they both come to Greg Penner's going to side with Sean Payton.
Yes.
Sean Payton was the guy that Greg Penner hired, not George Payton. So I don't think that that's an issue here about dealing with George Payton having to think about his legacy and stopping that. So I think that this is something if Sean Payton wants, and Ryan, it's funny, I thought about this morning, and I put it at 90% chance that something like this doesn't happen, but 10% chance. I'm not saying it's likely, but it is a possibility. And on top of it, Ryan, I just think when you look at this situation, and Mac Jones could be just the perfect guy, not only for Sean Payton this year, but look at it. Russell Wilson or Sean Payton has no ties to Russell Wilson. He seemingly doesn't love him that much at all. You bring Mac Jones in, Mac Jones doesn't work out, well, then you can move on from Mac after this year, after 2 years from now, easy. Then Sean Payton can go get his guy again. So not only could it be, in Sean Payton's eyes, a move for this year, but it could be a move for the future as well if he doesn't work out.
I think, did Mac play 14 games last year? It's either 13 or 14. I was trying to count it, but I lost track. The stats are not good.
No.
So let's just get that out there and be very clear about that. 14 touchdowns to 11 interceptions, not good. 2,900 yards, not good. 65% completions, that's fine. An 84 passer rating, not good.
He played in 14 games.
And a 36 QBR, which is actually worse than Russell Wilson.
It is 0.4 worse than Russell Wilson.
So we're getting that out there.
Yep.
Like I said, I've never been a big Mac Jones guy. The reason why I'm entertaining this conversation has everything to do with Sean Payton and very little to do with my feelings on Mac Jones.
No, very fair. And you look at his rookie year, and I kid you not, it's crazy just how similar both of their past 2 seasons have been. Mac has had more wins. He's had a higher completion percentage. But outside of that, Russ and him have been neck and neck in passer rating and quarterback rating and yards per game. I mean, it's been the exact same these past 2 years.
Yeah.
And you can sell yourself on that. You could hate that by saying, wait, Russ was awful last year. Why would you want a guy that's similar to him? But you could sell yourself on, okay, Mac was a rookie and did that. And then the second year, he had a defensive coordinator calling his offensive plays. So you view it from the bright side. So, Ryan, kind of getting into what it would take to trade for him. Bill Belichick calls Sean Payton and says, Mac Jones for Russell Wilson. Who says no?
Should we tell him about it after this break?
Let's do it. What are we telling him about?
I don't know yet.
We're telling him about our friends over at... I pulled up the wrong thing. Oh, no.
Breck Brew?
Over at Breckenridge Brewery. You're right.
Breck Brew Friday.
Yes, baby.
Does it feel like a Friday to you?
This week has been weird.
Yeah.
Tuesday, it felt like it was supposed to be Thursday, but then yesterday, it felt like the week was flying by.
On Tuesday, I literally said to Allie, like, man, this has been a long week. And she said, it's Tuesday. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, no. But did going up to Boulder make it a little easier these past couple days?
I went up to Boulder Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
On Tuesday night, I went to Boulder for the press conference, drove back here, did the shows, and then drove back to Boulder to have dinner with my friends.
Wow.
So, no, it didn't make it. It made it worse. Then yesterday, opening day, has like weekend vibes, of course.
I hated that it was Thursday.
Yeah, and then I feel like everyone's, I didn't participate in any opening day festivities. I was working, not twerking. But it feels like everyone else is like, yeah, I'm sick today. And now it's all quiet in the office.
It's very true. I wonder why people are sick. Huh.
So now I don't know what day it feels like. Anyways, Breck Brew.
Yep.
If you went too hard at opening day, well, you just need to have another Breck
That's
Brew.
Very true.
And if you didn't get to go hard at opening day, well, and you're like me, well, then you want to turn up tonight. And that's me.
Very true.
So I'll be hitting the Breck Brew fridge and getting to work right around 4 o'clock.
Man, and the Avs are rolling. The Avalanche Amber Ale's rolling too.
How about Miko, man?
Oh, my goodness.
Hat trick on the night you get 50.
Incredible. At the night after McKinnon gets 100.
Right, and now he's on the heels of McKinnon. He's got 98.
That's incredible. Yeah. 2 100-point scores in the same season.
Yeah, it's crazy just the lack of, I would say, excitement that has existed around the Avs because of the injuries, and they got off to a slow start.
Yep.
And they already won, so there's not as much, but it's gonna flip like that. And they relied so much on their stars this year.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if people were realizing how much those stars were coming through for them until you saw 50 goals, 100 points, maybe another 100-point season.
Last time you were on this pod, Monday, you asked me if I'm still worried about the Suns or about the Warriors. I've got to ask you, who are you more excited about, the Nuggets or the Avs? Maybe excited is not the word. I didn't want to say who are you more worried about, but I guess that's really the question I'm going for.
I'm more quote unquote worried about the Nuggets only because they haven't done it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if the Avs have no pressure on them in my heart.
Yeah.
Because they've already brought me a championship.
Yep.
They've brought me 3. But in the recent years, I'm just like, oh, you guys are plated in gold to me.
It's very true.
Like nothing can hurt Nathan McKinnon's legacy or any of these guys.
The Nuggets, and they're rolling too.
The Nuggets, I feel in such a different position. I feel like I'm just praying to like the basketball gods. Just like, please just give us one.
Yeah.
Like, please. Yeah. Come on. We've suffered so much. And that's a weird place to be. And it's different than where I was with the Avs 1 year ago today. 1 year ago today, the Avs were reeling.
Yep.
And I was like, anyone who's worried about this is dumb. They're an absolute wagon. And they've already showed several times this season that they can turn it on and off whenever they want.
And you were right.
And I was right. The Nuggets, they're not as powerful as that Avs team was last year. But they do have the best basketball player in the world and a great supporting cast around him. It is just weird that it hasn't felt that way for about a month.
I was going to say, just down the stretch is when you want to feel like the number one seed is great. And was last night was maybe the best loss the Nuggets have had. I mean, the Suns are playing everyone. They need this game. The Nuggets literally don't play a single starter, and they're up deep into the fourth quarter, end up losing. But I mean, you also saw the bench guys who the Nuggets are going to need contributions from come through.
I know, it was awesome. I was actually going to put out a tweet. I forgot to do it. See how many points the Suns bench scored and say, like, the Nuggets bench outscored the Suns bench 115-45 tonight.
It's very true.
Yeah, that was fun to watch. I love me some Peyton Watson.
Oh, man, he's coming on.
Yeah, he is.
But, okay, so Mac Jones for Russell Wilson. Who says no?
The Patriots.
Why?
They don't want the contract.
Okay. Even the team-friendly contract. I do think it's like 2 years, $25 million a year with an option to get out after that, or it's like a 3 year, $75 million contract.
Yeah.
$25 million a year.
$25 million a year for a bottom-tier quarterback last season.
When you can make the case we've made earlier that that's Mac Jones just times 5 contract-wise.
Exactly. And I feel like someone in that building would say, whoa.
Yeah.
Why would we pay 5 times as much for a quarterback who was the same last year? Like, let's not get crazy here. See, Mac is at least cheap. If he sucks, it's fine.
Patriots probably aren't getting a first-round quarterback this year. Their only other option at quarterback, if they move on from Mac Jones, is Lamar Jackson, and maybe that is what they want to do. They want to just move on from Mac, not even get a fortune for him, just move on from him to clear the way for Lamar Jackson after the draft. And if that's the case, you can have Lamar Jackson or you can have Russell Wilson. You're taking Lamar.
Yeah, for sure. So I think they would say no to that, but I don't think that that's the end of the conversation. I think that the conversation comes down to what's the compensation for Mac Jones.
It's not a first-round pick. It's not a first-round pick. It's
not a second-round pick.
Is it a third then? Because I was gonna say 2 to 4.
And this is where I go right back to being higher on my percentage of this happening. If Sean Payton goes in there and says, "Hey, for a third-round pick, I think we might have our quarterback of the future."
Right.
And Greg Penner's going to say, no, I don't like Mac Jones.
Right.
Like, no shot.
No, 0.
So this is where I come back and I'm like, wait a minute. The Broncos could pair Mac Jones with someone who we assume still believes in him.
Yeah.
And we agree fits the offense. For a third-round pick and $4 million?
Yep.
What's to stop them from doing that?
No,
other than you're still in love, or you still feel married enough to Russ that you wouldn't do this just to shake the tree.
That would be it, is just your commitment to Russ in the future. If for some reason Sean Payton really does like Russ, but has said internally, like, I can't let him know publicly that I really like him, which is weird to do. That's why I do read into what Sean has or hasn't said about Russ. But if he says, no, I really do like him, then you really would be ruffling feathers, trading for a starting quarterback that's 2 years removed from being a first-round pick, that's 2 years removed from having Sean Payton try to draft him, from 2 years removed from having Sean Payton say really good things about him. That probably would just be a little too much drama, especially with all the drama that this organization had last year. But outside of that, you do that in a heartbeat, especially if Sean Payton still thinks Mac Jones is his first-round quarterback. The Patriots drafted him at 15, so if New Orleans tried to jump up ahead of him, they viewed him as a top 15 player in that draft, or at least a top 15 quarterback in that draft. 2 years later, if Sean still views him that way, he just thinks New England's ruined him by putting a defensive coordinator as his offensive coordinator, then yeah, for a third-round pick, you got to be kidding me.
I know. Now, I always forget this. If you trade for a player on their rookie contract, do you inherit their 5th-year option?
Yes, you do. You have the option to pick it up.
So the Broncos would have 3 years of control.
Wow.
Of Mac Jones for
and then
cheap.
And then 4 with the with what's it called? The franchise tag. If you wanted to after that, and the franchise tag for a quarterback this year is only $30 million, which is still really cheap compared to the $50 million you're paying elite guys.
Man, and I'm looking back at these rookie numbers, and they're rookie numbers, but they're a lot better than last year.
Yeah,
3,800 yards in looks like 16 games. 67% completion percentage, which is really high.
Yep.
I mean, really high.
Yeah, that's good for anyone. That's great for a rookie.
Yes. 7.3 yards per attempt, which is very low. And then 22 touchdowns to 13 interceptions.
And so you look at those 22 and 13 and you say, well, that's not incredible.
No.
And it's certainly not incredible. Those were the best numbers from any rookie quarterback in that class, which that class was loaded as we really got to see this past year. And on top of that, that would be the best quarterback play that the Broncos have had since 2014. So, yes, it's not amazing, but it is still really good compared to the Broncos standards.
Yep, and that year he had a 56.9 QBR, significantly higher than what he had last year. 92 quarterback rating. You'd like to see that over 100. But he did have, like, he had some crazy games, dude. Like, 22 of 30 for 227 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. That's his second game in the NFL.
Wow.
I lost my spot here. 123 quarterback rating. 23 of 32 for 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions.
Yep.
There's a 142 quarterback rating. 19 of 23, 198 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, all of these games would be like elite Broncos games over the last 5 years. 15 of 21, 229, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Like, he had some really bad ones, what you expect from rookies. You know, he had a 30 of 51 for 270. 51 passes for 270 yards. 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. And that was actually against the Saints. But there were certainly flashes. Again, he's not my kind of quarterback.
Yep.
He's absolutely Sean Payton's kind of quarterback.
Yep.
Sean Payton's opinion matters a lot more than mine. And I have a hard time writing it off.
Can you read Mac Jones's rookie numbers again? Touchdowns, yards, interceptions, complete percentage, passer rating.
So 67% completions for 3,800 yards, 22 touchdowns to 13 interceptions, a 92 quarterback rating, and a 56 QBR.
Drew Brees' stats the year right before he joined Sean Payton in New Orleans. So his last year with the San Diego Chargers. 64% completion, lower than Mac Jones's that year. 3,500 yards, lower than Mac Jones's that year. 24 touchdowns.
A little higher.
15 interceptions.
A little higher.
89.2 passer rating.
Lower.
So, I mean, look how similar those are. And that was Mac's rookie year compared to Drew Brees' 4th year in the NFL. And you say, well, that's just 1 year. Drew Brees did have 1 year that was better than that. He had 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions 2 years before joining Sean Payton. But then Drew Brees had an 11 touchdown, 15 interception season and a 17 touchdown, 16 interception season. So, like, it's not like Drew Brees only had good tape before joining Sean Payton. And obviously, Mac Jones has 1 good season and then 1 bad season. Drew Brees has 2 bad seasons and 2 good seasons. So, I mean, the parallels are crazy.
Yes. And the play style is the biggest one.
Yeah, exactly.
Pocket passer, very accurate, really smart.
And Sean Payton could have shut this down. We may have not had this conversation at all if he had said really good things about how he believes in Russell Wilson. And it would have been so easy for a coach to say, yeah, last year a lot of things were going on here, but look, he's a Pro Bowler, 9 of his first 10 seasons in the league. That's who I believe he can be. Look how easy that was to say. Even if you don't believe it, it's so easy to say. He hasn't said that once.
I've never seen him sweat, and it's funny that Pat McAfee, of all people, was the one who hit him with the hard hitters.
Yeah.
But Pat McAfee held his feet to the fire and said,
he did.
No, but do you love Russell Wilson?
Right.
And, he finally got him to say yes, but Sean Payton was squirming in that chair.
Yep.
So I personally do not think that Sean Payton believes in Russell Wilson.
I don't either.
I think that Sean Payton believes in Sean Payton.
Yep.
And believes that, hey, if this is what I've got to work with, I'll get the best out of him.
Yeah.
But I don't think at all that Sean Payton took this job saying, I'm going to turn around Russell Wilson, watch.
Yep. I completely agree. So if it's a 3rd round pick for Mac Jones, I'm doing it in a heartbeat. And then you kind of figure out.
He didn't take the job saying, Russell Wilson is still great.
Right.
Watch what happens when he works with me.
Right.
I think he did believe, if I have to, I'll make him work.
Yep, I think so too. But I think he made it known in the interview process, and he's making it known publicly now that he is not tied to him. He has not put his stamp of approval on him, and he has made that very clear. If it's a 3rd round pick for Mac Jones, I'm doing it. And then you kind of figure out everything after that. If Russell Wilson immediately demands a trade, that's something you knew could come, but you probably also traded for Mac to play him this year. I mean, people are thinking that Jarrett Stidham is potentially going to get playing time over Russell Wilson this year. Mac Jones is way more proven than Jarrett Stidham. We pointed to Jarrett Stidham's really good game he had last year. Mac Jones has games that are even better than that without the interception. So I just think that this is something that, man, Brian, what do we talk about? Before the Broncos had Russell Wilson, we said you cannot trade 1st-round picks until you have your quarterback, and then you can do stuff with 1st-round picks, but you have to save 1st-round picks for quarterbacks. The Broncos think they can get their future quarterback for a 3rd? Are you kidding me?
And really not the Broncos. If Sean Payton believes that, then I think he's going to get the benefit of the doubt internally.
Yep, and he should. This is Sean Payton's team.
Do you think there's any chance that the Patriots set a hard line at a 2? Because I personally don't.
Man, I don't think they can with what's come out now.
I don't either.
And it's, Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton have been on the trade block as well. And when names are thrown out, their values just tend to decrease a little bit. And that's a credit to the Broncos that they haven't sold low on these guys, because typically when names float out there, you do end up selling low. And the Broncos have not done that with either of those guys. But especially if the report that Bill Belichick was furious with Mac at points last year, geez, that is just killing his trade value.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. I mean, Mac Jones' best game last year was 29 of 39, 382, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. So again, we would love that, but there's also some ugly ones on here.
Yep.
22 of 32, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
That's bad.
24 of 35, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. So many. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 0 touchdown games.
That's really tough. That is how many did Russ have?
Good question.
When you're looking that up, if you feel like, man, what a weird. Never. I was trying to make a transition and it did not work, Ryan. Call our friends over at Backus and Shaker if you need help, just like I did with that transition. I should probably give them a call, because if you're in an accident, if you're in an automobile accident, motorcycle, ride share, pedestrian trucks, any sort of accident, and you need help, call our friends over at Backus and Shaker. 222-2222 is the number to call, and they are going to help you out. If you're in Colorado, they're serving Denver, Aurora, Inglewood, Fort Collins, so many neighborhood offices in Colorado. They have over 100 employees with over 30 lawyers on staff, and they've helped people win over $1 billion. That's a bill.
Billy.
That's like 2 Patrick Mahomes' contracts in cases that they've won. I was thinking, who's the richest quarterback? And it's Mahomes, unfortunately. But maybe that'll actually help the Broncos in the future when those cap hits are due. Actually, the reason why I brought up Mahomes? Typically, Henry does this ad read, and, Henry, just in honor of him. So call Backus and Shanker at 222-2222, where they win for you.
Henry, obviously is oft accused of being a Chiefs fan on this show.
Yeah.
The other day on Twitter, by the king of Buffs Twitter, Brandon McCartney, grandson of Bill McCartney.
Awesome.
He got called a Nebraska fan.
Whoa.
So he's got pretty much like the worst accusations you can have just like on his record right now.
Both red teams.
Yeah.
Jeez. What was he saying about Nebraska?
He just said that Missoula was better than Boulder because Boulder beat Missoula in the finals for best college town. And I don't know why BMAC said it, but he was like, Ryan, I think Henry's a Nebraska fan in disguise.
Wow, that one's got to hurt you more than even the Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't know why he does this to himself.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I know. It's so weird because I know none of this is true, but the evidence is damning.
Maybe he'll twerk it out of his system this weekend.
It's hopefully. Russ had 4 0-touchdown games last year.
In today's NFL, that's just so hard to wrap your mind around.
What's crazy, though, is in those 4 0-touchdown games, 3 of them were 0-0.
Wow.
0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
He just did nothing.
One of them was a 0-2.
Okay.
But for
Mac
Mac,
had 0-3.
Macs were so bad. He had 1-0-0, a 0-1, a 0-0, a 0-1, and a 0-3. So in those 5 games, he had 0 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
Oh my goodness, that is brutal.
That's unfathomable.
No. I mean that's like football in the 1960s.
It really is. It really is.
Yikes. Okay, you doing it for a third?
Yeah. A third round, to me, especially when you have 2.
Yeah.
A third round pick for a flyer on a quarterback that I think fits really well with the coach. I would just do it. I would. And I think we're probably overlooking the inner dynamics that would take place here a little too much.
Like what?
Just the absolute war that would take place between the Broncos and Russell Wilson's representation.
Very true.
Then pointed out by Cody in the comments, the Mac Jones Jerry Jeudy relationship.
Oh wow.
So like Jerry's immediately out on Russ.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think we're probably like, I'm maybe envisioning this too much as a Madden move, where it's just like, yeah, you just bring him in, and if you like him better, you play him, and if you don't, then you go back to whatever, and you use the third round pick.
Clearly, if you're doing this though, you're okay saying goodbye to Russ in some form or fashion.
Yes, but I just want to keep him as a backup, and you just probably can't do that.
Man, maybe that's when you're able to negotiate the contract in some way that he is more tradable.
That's very true.
In some way, because he's pissed off, because the Broncos could absolutely say that, dude, if we trade you, we're taking $80 million of cap hit. If we keep you, we only have $22 million against the cap right now. So we're keeping you unless you're willing to take not just a restructure, but a massive pay cut. And like you said, the bonus is still going to hit and stuff, but it would just help in some way.
It would help. There are ways to help at least the cap hits and all that stuff. And you could make him tradable. And probably even tradable to a point where you don't have to like include something like Russell Wilson and a second just to take him.
It's very true. The Brock Osweiler trade.
Yep. And again, this conversation does not also mean that I don't believe Russell Wilson is going to turn it around.
No.
I think, I believe in Sean Payton's ability to make this offense make sense for Russell Wilson and capitalize on his strengths. The conversation just has to be had because of Sean Payton.
Yep.
So if you're mad at anyone, of course you could be mad at us, and you probably will be anyway. But really the person you should be mad at is Sean Payton.
Yep.
All he would have to do one time ever is just like go on a 1-minute soliloquy about how great Russell Wilson is.
It's so true, and he's had many opportunities.
He hasn't even done it for 1 second.
No, it's so true. He moves away every single time. And Ryan, I got to give props to this comment section because I thought this was going to be a tough place to be. And you guys have been great. I think they've listened to kind of the argument put out. They listened to Sean Payton talk about it. I thought it was just going to be like, you guys are crazy. This is ridiculous. I haven't seen that at all. I'm afraid to open Twitter because they aren't listening and understanding the actual conversation and where we're coming from. But got to give a shout out to the comment section.
I will say someone that we know and love in the comment section accused us of being the antithesis of what we want to be. But
damn, that hurts.
I just feel like all we did here was have a conversation.
It's true.
On April 7th, a conversation, it's a conversation worth having, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't expect everyone to agree with us on everything.
No.
Even just agree with us on the topics we want to talk about. But when this came across, I was like, oh, yeah, there's enough here that we're not like reaching to make this a talking point.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And if Russell Wilson was in the Final Four in our March Madness Broncos bracket, we wouldn't be having this conversation because we'd be saying the Broncos have their quarterback. He's a top 4 player on the team, maybe a chance to become a top 2 player on the team. But Ryan, in our March Madness bracket, Russell Wilson was 14th. You can't have a quarterback that's barely making the Sweet 16 and not have some of these conversations about the future of your quarterback, the most important position in sports. And speaking of that bracket, let's bring it up right now. Let's give some updating. We've kind of waited for the weekend to make our Final Four projections and see how things play out. And Ryan, we've got to update the bracket from the Elite 8 to the Final Four. Ooh. We had Pat Surtain going up against DJ Jones.
I haven't seen any of these results.
Good. So you're going to guess who won, Pat Surtain or DJ Jones?
Pat Surtain, 97% of the vote.
Man, you don't think Pat Surtain's that good, do you? 98.9% of the vote. I believe Pat Surtain has won both of these within like 1.1%. I think he actually won the first round by even
more.
Even more. So Pat Surtain, unsurprisingly, moves into the Final Four.
DJ Jones working out with my guy Shedeur Sanders in Miami last week.
Wow, man, Shedeur. Holy cow.
I know.
Working out with NFL players already.
He literally has an NIL deal with Tom Brady's brand.
Doesn't he also have a deal with Mercedes?
Something like that, and Gatorade. And
wow.
Yeah.
How much is he making?
I think they put out that his like NIL value, I don't know if that's like actual things that he has or what, was like 1.7 million.
Wow. Is that top 10?
Yeah, it was like third or something.
I mean, he's a good player, but also Sanders' name, Dion, being at CU, where all the attention's there.
Looks sick in his uniform.
Does he have a number yet?
Good looking kid. No, but I mean, yes.
Right. Didn't his dad say that 2's already taken, but not given out?
But he hasn't given it to him.
Yeah.
Right. I think he was just trying to say, like, don't try to come get 2. Don't waste your time.
You can't. That would be such a bad look.
Yeah. But he'll have it soon.
Yep, he will. All right, then we had Jerry Jeudy going up against Tim Patrick. This one, we had Tim on upset alert watch.
Yes.
Did he pull it out? You're trying to read my face here. I don't like it.
Yes.
He did not.
Oh.
Jerry Jeudy won this one. It was the closest race we had here.
Well, you just gave away the...
I
wasn't going to guess anything but the favorites anyway.
Unless it was a big upset.
Yeah.
A massive upset. Yeah. Jerry Jeudy was 72.7% of the vote.
Wow. Easy work.
Yeah, it really was. I thought this one was going to be close.
All right. Good job for Jerry. And that's the correct decision. Good job, Broncos Twitter.
Yeah, I think so as well. On the other side of the bracket, we had Justin Simmons going up against Ben Powers. Was the new guy able to pull off the upset?
No, and I doubt he was even able to get more than 12% of the vote.
You are correct about that. In fact, cut that in half. He wasn't able to get more than 6% of the vote, Ryan. Justin Simmons got 95.4% of the vote. And these votes, these polls are getting thousands of votes. So it's a very good sample size from Broncos Country.
For sure.
And then playing Justin Simmons on that side of the bracket, we had Javonte Williams going up against Mike McGlinchey. So I can't see. I'm just guessing, and I think I got them all right. Did the newcomer pull off the upset? And we did put the asterisk here of if both players are fully healthy.
Nope. I'm going to say 80% Javonte.
Damn close. 81.8%. You're pretty spot on with these, Ryan.
I know my people.
So that sets up probably the Final Four that we could have all guessed. No upsets when it comes to this Final Four. Ryan, let's preview these because we're going to put them out over at DNVR_Broncos on Twitter this week. We've got Jerry Jeudy going up against Pat Surtain. Can Alabama knock off Alabama?
Yes. It'll be Pat Surtain knocking off Jerry Jeudy.
Under 10% of votes for Jerry?
I was just going to say I think Jerry gets 11% of the vote.
Yeah, which is still a blowout.
But now, after that came out of my mouth, it sounded crazy. I think Pat just might go 99 in every 98, 99 through the whole tournament.
Yeah, 95% feels about right for this one. A little more competition.
It feels like Jerry Jeudy has stands
to vote for him.
Yeah. Like people that would just vote for him against anyone no matter what because he's their guy.
The fact that he beat Tim Patrick by such a sizable amount. Tim Patrick's loved by everyone.
Yep.
And that he still beat him by a big margin.
Yeah, but wasn't the language who's the best?
Yep. Who's the best
So
Bronco right now?
people were honest with themselves.
They were. Is Javonte going to be able to give Justin Simmons a run for his money? Because we are going to have the asterisk when fully healthy here too.
I don't think so. Just because he's honestly unproven.
But I think that's going to benefit him.
Okay. I'm going to say over 70% to Justin.
Okay. I was going to say 60.
Yeah.
But you're probably going to be right. And then that's going to set up just an easy run for both guys to the championship game, which we'll update this on Monday. Then maybe we'll put it out Monday night, kind of like the Natty was last week.
Yeah, I like that.
So make sure to check out at DNVR_Broncos on Twitter to vote in this. If you want to see an upset, we're going to have people be voting for it.
So have you ever heard some of the Panthers fans who are a little bit out of their mind that they're saying J.C. Horn's better than Pat Surtain?
No, really?
There are people out there who are saying things like that.
Wow.
And
especially after last year.
A big member of Panthers Twitter made a Panthers uniform redesign.
Okay.
But they used it on Pat Surtain.
What? On accident?
Yeah, you couldn't tell it was him really,
JC?
but then I can't remember who it was, so I apologize. But someone on Broncos Twitter pointed it out, wait, is this Pat Surtain? It was kind of a hype photo that the Broncos would take in a studio with smoke and dark lighting and stuff like that.
So it wasn't that obvious.
So it wasn't that obvious, but you could tell from the tattoos, and then when you zoomed in on his face, you're like, that's Pat Surtain.
Oh my gosh.
He's man, they can't even use their own guy.
Maybe they're projecting that they're gonna trade for him. Number 1 pick for Pat Surtain?
Sure.
Okay, so that's what would do it.
Man, even then, the Broncos are in such an odd position that having the number 1 pick isn't even that great of a thing for them.
Pat Surtain and Russell Wilson for the number 1 pick. Who says no?
I don't know. Me. I'm going to just take the side of Pat Surtain. It's a smart place to be.
That's very true. Yeah, especially in Broncos country. That is very true. Someone saying that Jeffrey Simmons cryptic tweet alert. I wonder if that's random or if it has anything to do with the Broncos.
I'll search that while you take up the comments.
Yeah, let's roll with these comments. Do we have any super chats yet here? We do have a super chat coming in from Laking Ball.
Yep.
Wow, says, what bill did last year giving Mac Jones a defensive coordinator as his offensive coordinator was a fireable offense if it was anybody else? Oh, sorry, I've read bill in a different context, so that makes complete sense. Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, I got to say, I know some Patriots fans. They were so upset with what Bill did last year, and it just makes no sense. People are New England Patriot fans are more out on Bill than they are Mac Jones right now, to just show you how confusing that situation it was. And absolutely, could you imagine if
I think Laking Ball is actually a Patriots fan. I know that they're a Celtics fan.
Well, then he definitely knows exactly what I'm talking about.
It's like gross negligence.
I mean, could you imagine if any other coach did that?
No.
The coach would have been fired.
Imagine Nathaniel Hackett's I'm bringing in my good buddy Jiro Evero to be our offensive coordinator.
And then it goes down in flames like that?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Okay, so Jeffrey Simmons was just screwing with everyone. Maybe he just missed out on April Fool's Day. He wanted to get one. So he tweeted, Titans Nation, thank you for the last 4 years. I am so grateful for you guys. And everyone's like, what? And then he tweeted, but we're not done yet, damn it. LFG, we have so much work to do.
How much time did he waste in between those two?
6 minutes.
6 minutes. Yep. Yeah.
But he didn't thread it either.
Oh,
so if you just see the one
still
tweet,
freaking out a little bit.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's. I guess if you want attention on April 7th, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
I might tweet out DNVR. Thanks for the memes. The peace sign.
Did any April Fools get you?
No, dude, I can't be got by April Fools. Also,
yeah,
here's the thing.
It's too obvious.
All online April Fools suck.
Yes, they do. They do. Not a fan of the Broncos? Miles the mascot?
That was one of the worst ones I've ever seen, to be honest.
Yep.
You can't do an April Fool's joke online. They're all bad. In-person April Fool's joke, you hit them with the tape over the sink, splashes on your face. That's good shit.
Yep.
But you really can't do one online. It's just not good. I have to say, so I was talking to, I feel like he'd be fine with me telling this story. I was talking to our good friend James Palmer the other day.
Yep.
And he told me of an epic April Fool's joke that his friend's wife played on him that spread like wildfire and actually started like a rumor like this.
Ooh.
So apparently she works for the like alumni association at Ohio State.
Of course.
And she like answered a phone call, was like super frantic, was like, okay, I'm on my way. And she's like, I'm sorry, honey, I have to go. Ryan Day is resigning. And just like left the house and took off.
Oh my gosh.
And he was like, what? So then he starts texting all his buddies. And it's a legendary story for the woman who pulled this off, because it got to the point where someone texted Ryan Day and said, hey, are you resigning? And he was like, no, what?
Wow. And she did it on April Fool's.
Yes.
That is incredible. Because when it's in the moment, you don't think about it as much.
I literally just got a text from James Palmer.
Wow.
And I thought he was going to be like, why are you telling that story? It's completely unrelated.
That is so funny. Oh, man, that's a good one. So last on April Fool's this year, Tom Pelissero tweeted that Philip Lindsay was signing with the XFL team, the Seattle Sea Dragons or something like that. I was able to confirm that. I put it out as well. And there were some people in the comment section saying, is this an April Fool's? And I'm like, no, it's real news. And then I had a reporter for the XFL reach out and say, hey, just want you to know this might be an April Fool's joke. Like my sources with the Sea Dragons haven't heard. And I was like, this would be a weird April Fool's thing to be doing when like it's been confirmed to multiple people and stuff. Turns out it was real. But for a second I was like, is someone really like, is an agent or team or people really April Foolsing a source thing? That would be risky.
That would be so lame.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just imagine that guy's wife when she comes back and says April Fool's, and he's like, dude, I had someone text Ryan, like it went all the way to the top.
Yep.
That's an elite April Fool's joke.
You know, probably also then the people that he told were also spreading it to other. That's a big web to then pull back.
I will say, my dad got, and it was just so sad.
Oh, geez.
He texted me, and at least he said, is this an April Fool's joke? But the fact that he texted me, he said, hey, my good buddy who like knows people within the Buffs said that Dion is resigning to become the Broncos head coach. Is this an April Fool's joke?
So you knew right away.
Yeah, I was like, come on, bro. You got to do better than this.
Yep. And Sean Payton's leaving the Broncos to become the Buffs head coach?
The thing is, my dad only cares about the Buffs.
Okay.
So he doesn't pay attention to any other sports.
Fair.
And so he probably doesn't even know that Sean Payton is the coach of the Broncos.
Right. So then that you could see some something playing out there.
It's like, oh, dude, come on. We gotta be more on top of our shit than that.
I gotta say, parents though, they're way more gullible.
It's so
like
sad.
the Facebook stuff where it's like, repost this and Facebook won't charge you. It's always parents, man. And the amount of times I see that circulating.
And that's why when you get a call that's like, your Apple warranty is expired, you're like, who the hell falls for this? And then you see your friend's mom repost that thing on Facebook, and you're like, oh, you've definitely gotten scammed out of a couple $100 bucks
so
before.
True. It is so true. My fiance got an email this morning saying your social security number has been canceled. To uncancel it, send us your social security number.
We've had one going around that's like someone impersonating Brandon.
Yes, we have.
It's like going to people in the company, which is weird.
And it's
oh,
they're asking for, I haven't got that one. But it's really funny when Brandon in quotes texts you and says like, oh,
from
this is Brandon Spano, and then sign like Brandon Spano, DNVR.
And it's from like a 381 number or something. You're like, but then I know of someone who got by one of those.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
This is why I just don't believe anything.
It's very true.
It makes life easier.
Especially the past 24 hours. It's hard to know what you believe online and what you don't.
Allie like shows me a TikTok. She's like, look at this. This is so cute. I'm like, staged. Fake.
AI in like the past 2 weeks, at least from my noticing, has gone from like 0 to 100.
Yeah.
It is crazy the things that are out there.
We're dangerously close to robots being aware.
and like doing our job. I thought talking we were gonna be fine.
You saw the Masters one?
No.
There's like an AI Masters commentary.
Oh yes.
It was pretty shitty, but
We're close to it being good though.
yeah, they just take a sample of Jim Nance's voice.
Yep.
Put it on there.
Yep. How are your Masters bets?
I haven't checked today. Not great. I mean, Brooks Koepka is like running away with it.
Yeah.
Now I think he's gonna crumble, but let's just hope.
Even today, he's running away with it.
He was like 5 under today.
Wow.
When I last looked.
Wow. And he's a live golf guy, right?
He is, which we can't have a live guy.
No.
He's 12 under on the tournament. He shot 5 under today. Second is Sam Bennett, who I believe is an amateur.
I was gonna say I have not heard of his name.
He's an amateur, which is sick.
Wow. An amateur beating live golf to win the Masters.
Oh
That'd
my
be
god,
dope.
that would be so sick. And then Rahm is third. He's even through 6, but he's at 7 under, so he's got work to do. My
Okay.
guy Colin Morikawa is 3 under today. Shot 3 under today.
Was that the one who cheated?
He did not cheat.
I don't
That's so
know.
funny.
I don't know.
No, it's literally already been fully fledged. But Brooks
Was that AI?
actually cheated. He got away with it.
Oh, what'd he do?
Okay, so the Colin Morikawa thing, there's a
Yep.
rule in golf. If your ball comes to a rest
Okay.
and then you're not like over it and it moves, then you can replace it.
You're not. Oh, what do you mean
If
over
you're
it?
if you're like about to hit it
Yep.
and it moves,
Okay.
then like that's a problem for you. But if it's just there, you're walking up to it, it moves, you can replace it.
Gotcha.
So that's what happened.
Gotcha.
I think I might be getting the rule a little bit wrong. But
Because there's this video that's going around of him moving his ball 3 inches, 2 inches. Yeah. Okay,
and
that
everyone,
makes sense then.
But like no one sees
gotta
the
see the
follow-up.
context.
Something goes
Yep.
viral. The
Yeah.
the correction never goes quite
Of
as
course.
viral.
Yep.
But yeah, the PGA looked into it and or
Okay.
the Masters or
Okay.
whoever, But Brooks, so you're not allowed to give or solicit advice to your fellow players.
Okay.
And the big one that this applies to is what club you hit. 'Cause
Okay.
if you and I were playing golf and, we're similar abilities,
Yeah.
if you hit a shot close, I'm going to ask you, what'd you hit?
Right. Fair. Makes sense.
You can't do that in tournament competition.
Okay.
And you also can't say, hey, I hit 8 there.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay.
There's a video of Brooks striping one, putting it close
Yep.
on the par 5. And then you see Brooks's caddy look at Gary Woodland's caddy and go 5. And then you see Brooks go like this, and then he takes his glove off. And it's like, wow.
Wow.
And they looked into that, and they actually like interviewed both players. Both players
Wow.
presumably just
Played it
lied
off.
about it.
Yep,
They were like,
yep.
nope. And like even Gary, like the announcer today was like, yeah, I talked to Gary Woodland about it. He said it definitely wasn't communication with his caddy because he asked his caddy what Brooks hit and he said he didn't know. So what you will see and you can do, as long as there's no communication, you'll watch a player walk over and see what
Yep.
club the caddy puts back into the bag.
Yep. Wow. That's what? Why is that even a rule? Why would you want to help the person you're competing with for millions of dollars?
I think it's just,
Because they're boys.
yeah, you're just playing together. Like,
But you're also playing against each other.
yeah, but you want I don't know. For me, if I was playing in competition, I would want me and the people I'm playing with to be playing their best.
Okay.
Because it just feels like it raises
Yeah,
all boats.
yeah.
And then
Okay.
like, hey, maybe I'll see you on the weekend and then we'll get serious.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It was Thursday.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys are boys, so they help each other out.
Very true.
This one was just like really blatant.
Wow.
I will say that doing it with the glove right before you,
Yeah.
but he didn't very like.
Right. Do you think he realized like, oh shit, like I'm showing a 5 now. Let me do something to cover it up.
I don't know. It felt very, very cheaty.
Man.
But again, I don't care about that rule.
what would have happened?
We need
if-
to eliminate rules that just don't matter.
There's so many in all of sports.
Yeah. Just like let the player be like, what'd you hit there?
Yes.
Just like everyone else does on the golf course.
Yes, exactly. Brooks.
And you could say, I don't want to tell you.
What would have happened?
It's like a penalty,
Which is a stroke penalty?
Yeah.
Okay.
which we could have used that and get him to come back to the field
Yes,
a little
we
bit.
could have.
And there was this whole idea that they were going to be extra hard on live players. So the fact that they let him off the hook here kind of gets that.
Damn.
Yep. Then there was a theory that maybe he was just saying it to the sideline announcer. Because you know how they'll be like, oh, he hit a 5 there.
Right,
He
right,
absolutely
right.
striped it. Like,
Oh, that would be really smart. Couldn't
Yeah.
you say that all the time, pretty much, as
Yeah.
long as the sideline reporter's somewhere along the lines of where you're looking?
Well, and you could honestly just do it like if you really wanted to help each other out on every shot. Your caddy could just be like, beautiful 5. Beautiful 5.
Right. Yeah. Or just, casually run his hands through his hair with the number of fingers.
I mean, you don't even have to do that. She's like, that's the best 5-iron you've hit all day.
Right. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep, it's so true. Man, this has been a fun one.
This has been a fun one. Any more questions? Anything?
We got 2 on the website, so we can hit them really quick. The count says... there's a new super chat
from Laking Ball. Yes, I'm the homie hater over at DNVR Nuggets, but especially after his first year, there was promise with Mac. So yes, it's Bill's fault. Robert Kraft should move him. Imagine Joe Judge and Matt Patricia.
Oh, boy. Yeah. That Joe Judge and Matt Patricia is a Patriots coach? Or imagine Joe Judge or Matt Patricia pulling that with Mac Jones?
I think he's just saying, like, imagine that being your guys.
Oh, yeah, that is really tough. And that's why one of the reasons why the report came out is I think Robert Kraft is done with Bill thinking he's just God and can do whatever he wants, because now he can't do whatever he wants.
So true.
The count coming in on the website, and thank you, Lakers, what was it? Lakers Bill?
Laking Ball.
Laking Ball for hanging out
Celtics
with
fan.
us.
He definitely doesn't want to be Lakers
That's very
Bill.
true. The count says, other than Russ, which Broncos potential improvement could have the most significant impact on the team this next season? And sorry, Hank, the people say no cat for you. Love the count.
What was the first part?
Outside of Russ, what would be the biggest improvement the Broncos could have that would help them the most? Like, what improvement would you want from the Broncos the most?
Are we getting like an elite player at a position?
Let's say one position takes a big step up outside of QB.
Man, this might be... It's either corner for me, where if you had an elite cornerback too, I just don't think anyone can do anything against your offense, or running back, where you just have such a great running back. And I'm talking like, in my head, I'm thinking you're getting elite player. So it's like Derrick Henry.
Right. Or C-Mac, man. Yeah, that would be hard not to go running back for this. That's just going to help Russ so much too.
Wide receiver, I don't think so.
Offensive line, but it's probably one player.
Yeah, so center.
On the offensive line.
One of the best centers in the league. That would go a long way.
It would. I don't think it'd go as far as running back.
Strong safety.
To just have pretty much an elite secondary everywhere.
And I have to give Caden Stern some credit. I think maybe we are sleeping on him a little bit.
Why? What's changed? Why does this come to light?
People that matter think so.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like it a lot. And when Caden Stearns has played, he's been one of the most efficient players.
Yeah.
But he was hurt, and the injury he had last year was definitely a freak injury that kept him out what seemed like it was going to be 2 weeks, and then it happened to be like 12 weeks.
Yeah, sucked.
I like hearing that.
So there you go.
I like hearing that. Laking Ball again says, Bill is just waiting to pass Don Shula in wins.
Laker Bill? Laker Bill is waiting to pass Don Shula?
He's just giving us super chats. Be nice to the guy.
I can't wait to tell the Nuggets guys that you called him Laker Bill.
And Nash Bronco rounds us out, says, fellas, what is the gold standard for GMs across the league now? How do we grade these guys? I want to continue this conversation because just a few weeks ago, it seemed like George Payton was out. I don't think George Payton's done anything to save his job or hurt his job since Sean Payton's been hired. He didn't do anything amazing in free agency. They didn't
Paid
get
a lot
any.
of money.
Yeah, Greg Penner did all the work in free agency by just saying,
signing
yeah,
checks.
you can have however much money you need. So I also don't think George Payton's hurt himself this offseason either. But for me, George Payton's still at, did we say a 5 or something on the heat scale? He's not completely cooled off.
Yep. The last thing that I want to talk about on today's podcast is Henry having a cat, which absolutely should not happen.
So
No
Andre,
grown-ass man who eats Lunchables can be responsible for another being.
That was exactly
said,
the conversation.
Why does he have a mouse infestation?
Because right before he moved into his place on Tuesday, He heard his neighbor saying something about how there was a mice problem in their place. And then I asked him if he saw any mice the day he moved in, and he said no, but between his courtyard outside and inside the door, there's like a little gap in it. And he said, so there's no mice yet, but there might be. And then so when Dre was on yesterday, he brought up the great idea, get a cat. Then you're not going to have a mice problem.
No.
And then then people came in and said, whoa, I don't know if you can trust Henry with another life.
Just get an ethical mousetrap.
An ethical mousetrap, which is a cat.
No, the cat kills the mouse.
Yeah, but that's more
in like a horrific, murderous way.
But that's more of like that's part of the circle of life. Then
they're
if
not
it's another
eating it.
Animal.
No, it's not part of the circle of life.
Well, but it just
they're just killing it for fun.
Man,
these cats are monsters.
I would never kill a bunny myself. But when my cat growing up would bring bunnies to our front door often, I never felt like it was bad. I'm just like, yeah, it's animal on animal crime.
That's just messed up. We can't be having crimes like that.
So an ethical mousetrap that's not a cat, huh?
Yeah. That's not a cat mousetrap is unethical.
Man, I'm worried about Henry because
I will say Henry's girlfriend, highly responsible. I trust her with a cat.
It's very true. And I don't need to put personal things out there. She may be involved in that at some point moving forward. That's when a cat would be okay.
She strikes me as a dog person.
You can be both. I'll tell you can be both. I'm a both person.
I don't have anything against cats. I just happen to be allergic as hell to them.
Which is very fair then. You can be against having a cat.
And I like playing with cats, and then I just suffer the consequences.
Man, I'll tell you what. I have like 6 cuts on my hands right now, all from cats. They've been tough on me recently.
Damn.
But Henry,
cats have had it.
Henry, his carpet isn't like fully put in. He may have gotten a new floor in his like kitchen area, but he's not sure if it's like fully put in yet. So flooring isn't fully done. He says multiple doors have holes in them in his place, and then a gap in between inside and outside.
I need Allie to hear this story because she's recently been on like a kick to like, live in a house.
Oh, yep.
And I would like to buy a house.
Yeah.
If, the opportunity presents itself. But I also quite enjoy living on the 10th floor of an apartment complex. And I'm not even like anti-bugs or afraid of mice or any of that thing.
Yeah.
But I've literally never seen a spider in my house. I've never seen a fly in my house.
Yeah.
I've never obviously seen a mouse. None of that. It'll never happen.
No, it won't. It won't. And you don't have to worry about...
Even the moths don't fly that high.
Dang, that is impressive. So you can leave your doors open, not worry about anything happening.
I wouldn't do that.
Why?
Because I just don't want to risk it. But it hasn't happened yet.
That's true. That's true.
On a summer day, I'll just leave the door open.
And then especially anything that happens, it's someone else's problem to come fix it.
It's quite nice. Quite nice. But I do, what I don't want to do is rent a house.
Yes.
Like I'll buy a house.
You want to you want to rent an apartment or buy a house.
Yes.
Yep. Totally fair.
Yep. Exactly. And I feel like the mouse story will really get Allie on the same page.
It's very true. And then she's going to want a cat.
Oh, and then Spencer and Kylie had like a snake in their front yard. That was another good one for me.
Nope. Couldn't do that. Not at all.
All right. I think that is all we have.
Or you actually have cats to kill them. One of my friends has snakes in their backyard, and the cat kills them occasionally.
I had a dog that used to take down spiders.
Wow.
She would be like laying down and one would go running across my parents' floor and she would just run over and smash it with her paw.
Man,
and then she would it was like fun for her, just like the mice.
Yep.
And then they would start to crawl away like slowly and smack it again.
So wouldn't eat it.
No, she just liked to play with it with her paw.
That is perfect. Then you never have to worry about it.
She also caught mice and voles and all sorts of stuff.
But that was, you're saying that's okay? If it's a dog that does it, not a cat?
I'm not saying it is.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't.
Okay. At least you're consistent.
It was actually really sad. She would bring it to me like it was a present, and I would be like, "No."
That's the thing.
The poor thing is like still half alive.
They think they're feeding you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last one here. I babysat my friend's cat, or a cat sat my friend's cat, and this cat was a big boy. Big boy.
I got a couple of those.
Disappeared for a whole night. I was beside myself, so worried. But they did say like, sometimes he just doesn't come back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is going to give me so much anxiety.
Yes, it would.
But like, it's 2 a.m. I've been calling him. Finally, I just have to give up and go to bed.
Yeah.
Wake up in the morning. there's Puma on the back porch, fully grown rabbit.
Oh man!
Like went like hand-to-hand combat with a rabbit that was almost as big as he is.
Wow!
And just had him for me. Like, here you go. And I was like, God damn it.
Was it alive still? Any sign?
No.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
It was like
Decapitated.
floppy at the neck.
Yeah. That's what they do. They decapitate them.
No, the head was still on, but it was just floppy.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Have you seen them ever
like now
attack
I
your hand?
have to deal with this.
Yeah, it's very true. Clean up some guts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, none of that either.
None of that. No guts.
No, but I just had to like take it somewhere.
Yep. And still warm body. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, that's all we got for
What
today.
a note to end on.
Yep. Henry, you're just not built for it. Can't have a cat.
I don't think so.
Can't have a cat.
People have said no as well.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for us. We will catch you next week on the DNVR Broncos podcast.